Patrick Brown needs to pick a side. I'm Brian Lilly with Rebel.media. Kathleen Wynne desperately needs to be replaced as Premier of Ontario. There's no doubt about that. Just look at the latest Angus Reid poll on the performance of provincial premiers across the country. Wynne is dead last, with just 16% saying they approve of the job that she's doing. But what do we replace her with? The simple fact that I'm even asking that question, well, that should be troubling for Ontario's progressive Conservative Party. I mean, why am I not just jumping up and down for joy over the idea of Patrick Brown? Why am I, someone who advocates for conservative policies at every level of government, not automatically saying, vote for Patrick Brown and the Ontario Progressive Conservatives? The answer is because I don't really know what Patrick Brown stands for or what team he's on. And quite frankly, what good would it do to replace Kathleen Wynne with a man in a blue suit and skinny tie that continues Wynne's politics and policies? That just wouldn't make any sense for me. Now, I get running to the right during the leadership race and then tacking to the center for a general election. Politicians have been doing this sort of thing forever. But Brown's doing more than that. He and his team seem to be actively campaigning for the Toronto Star endorsement. And I'm not just talking about his war with social conservatives inside the Ontario PC party. But I'm not ready to give up on Patrick Brown just yet. And I don't think that you should be either. Now, I'm going to lay out some of the problems that I see with Brown and his leadership, but I think there is, at this point, no better option to replace Kathleen Wynne than Brown and the PCs, unless they want to prove otherwise to me. Several times over the past few months when I've been taking calls on my radio show, I've had diehard conservatives call in and asking me how Brown can be replaced before the next election. And that's without me prompting them. His base is frustrated with his leadership. My answer then, each and every time I get these calls, and my answer now, is that it can't be done. Brown is the Ontario PC leader, but if he wants the support of grassroots conservatives, then he has to pick a side and let those people know where he stands. Right now, he's sending all the wrong signals and selling the wrong message. Take this clip from an interview that Brown did with the Canadian Press back in June.
Trying to build a modern, inclusive, pragmatic, progressive, conservative party, and it's how I feel. It's how I've always felt about the conservative movement, and now that I'm in a leadership position, I can really advocate the direction of the party.
That statement of wanting to be inclusive, that would be okay if Patrick Brown actually meant it. Being inclusive means accepting other viewpoints. But on this front, Brown is falling into the progressive left-wing vision of inclusion, which is believe what I believe or you're out. To social conservatives, it feels like Brown is spending as much time denouncing them as he spends denouncing Kathleen Wynne. When he was running for leader, Patrick actually courted social conservatives. He was staunchly against the sex ed curriculum. Now he denounces the same people that agreed with him during the leadership. He actually made an MPP apologize and retract statements he made about standing up for families on social issues this week. Does that make sense to you? Is that courting the conservative movement, or is that courting the Toronto Star? It's fine to have a big tent, Patrick, but the tent still needs to be blue. And if you're going to be shoving folks out of your tent in the hopes of finding friends at the Red Star, then hey, good luck. This whole sex ed thing should have died down by now, but you know why it hasn't? Because Brown won't stop talking about it and throwing his former supporters under the bus. And what about telling all of his MPPs that they had to vote for Kathleen Wynne's bill to remove the words mother and father? There would be no criticism of this bill under his watch, no amendments. They were supporting it as a party. Now, I know of MPPs who are far from being social conservatives who had issues with this bill. They wanted changes at the committee level. They wanted amendments. Brown wanted unanimous support and demanded it. And then there's this issue where Brown is completely offside of his own party, but onside of the Toronto Star and the downtown Toronto elites. I'm talking about the carbon tax. Brown made this announcement at the party convention in Ottawa last February without consulting party members or caucus. He just announced, hey, we're going to support a carbon tax. Our poll taken just after that announcement showed that 60% of voters opposed the carbon tax idea, including 82% of Ontario PC supporters. But Brown's hanging in there. He's singing the praises of the carbon tax, even as we see that south of the border, they're going in the opposite direction. Going ahead with the carbon tax or Kathleen Wynne's cap and trade system might make folks in Toronto at the cocktail party set feel good about themselves, but it will make Ontario less competitive compared to Michigan or Ohio or New York State when it comes to jobs, specifically auto jobs. Brown should be concerned about jobs in Alliston and Woodstock, Oshawa and Windsor, not what the editorial board of the Toronto Star thinks. And then finally, there's the issue of candidate nominations. Brown promised open and fair nominations. He's keeping that promise about as well as Justin Trudeau did. Every week, I hear from someone else involved in a nomination battle about interference from Patrick's team. It's leading to mistrust, and that is deadly in politics. Either just state that you and your team are going to be heavy-handed and push your preferred candidates, or let the grassroots decide at the local level who their candidate should be, like you promised. But you can't have it both ways. The election is just about 18 months away, and Patrick Brown has a chance to win that election. He also has the ability to crash and burn, especially if he keeps telling conservative voters that he actually doesn't like them, that he prefers liberal voters. I want you to help me send a message to Patrick Brown. Tell him he has to pick a side, that if he wants you to show that you're on his side, then he needs to show that he's on your side. You can do that by following the steps below, or if you're watching this video on another site, then just go to our website, pickaside.ca, and you'll find out how to email Patrick. Be concise, be polite, use the words that we provide. Don't call people names. Remember, we want to bring Patrick around to the proper way of thinking. I know that I speak for thousands upon thousands of frustrated Ontarians that want to see Patrick Brown and the PCs beat Kathleen Wynne in the next election, but we also want to know what side he's on. So once again, the website is pickaside.ca. Send him an email telling him to be on your side. Then share this message on social media. Let's flood his email inbox, telling him that he needs to get on board with you, the Conservative movement, if he wants a shot at being Premier in 2018. Hey, if you liked the video that you just saw, then make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's easy, just click right here. And make sure you share this video on social media so your friends and family get the truth.